Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Plain Speak. I'm Anusha Soni. The air quality in the national capital is once again worrisome after Diwali festivities. Despite a ban on the firecrackers from none other than the Supreme Court of India, there is enough anecdotal and empirical evidence on record to show that the ban was outrightly flouted. The politics between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP continues, where the Saffron Party has called the AAP for targeting Hindu festivals. This time, Delhi witnessed hazardous level of air pollution a week before Diwali, largely caused by stubble burning in the neighbouring states of Punjab and Haryana. The governments at the centre and the states have failed to provide any real solutions to the yearly air pollution crisis. Political blame game, bickering, and a rap from the Supreme Court of India seems to be the script for almost every year. There are knee-jerk reactions, but no sustained policy responses to the problem. Delhi, the national capital, is choking. And that's our focus on Plain Speak tonight. Who's responsible for it? Let's take a look at the air quality of Delhi. And what does the data really tell us about the last 5 days? Let's have a look at these numbers. And these numbers will tell you the story of the air quality index and how it has gone from bad to worse. From the 9th of November, it was very poor, 352. 10th of November, 387. November 11, very poor. And November 12, 176. This was also the time when we had some unexpected rains here in the national capital. And right after that spell of rain between the 10th and the 12th, in 2 days, it jumped to 886 severe air quality levels. Thanks to Mother Nature, we had that atmospheric conditions where there was rain and wind and we could get rid of the pollutants. But once again, due to festivities, the pollution levels have spiked. Let's talk about what kind of politics is it that we are witnessing here in the national capital, especially when it comes to the Aam Aadmi Party and also the BJP. The Aam Aadmi Party has slammed the BJP, saying that the crackers were burst at some places in a targeted manner, calling for some kind of conspiracy. And the BJP has hit back saying, please address the real issues instead of targeting Hindus. The question here is that was this really something that the government could have regulated? And is this about targeting of Hindu festivals? That's how sharply the narrative is divided. The BJP leaders instigated people to burst crackers. That's what the Aam Aadmi Party has said. The BJP has said that stubble burning continues unabated in Punjab. And that's the prime reason why, despite, Diwali being away for about a week, you still had the air pollution at a very, very high rate. The Aam Aadmi Party says that crackers were smuggled into Delhi from Haryana and UP because there is a ban here in the national capital by none other than the Supreme Court. And BJP has said that targeting people, targeting BJP for this is not really going to help. But here's a reminder of the order from the apex court of the country, which is the law of the land. Crackers are banned. There were numerous instances in the national capital region where people were seen openly flouting the Supreme Court order. Let's take you through that order. That order is a reminder that despite the politics, there's something given by the top court of the country that should have been respected, but that was not the case. The apex court had put a ban on production and sale of crackers, exception to green cat crackers, those with reduced emissions, but these are far more expensive, not so readily available. Only the licensed traders could sell these crackers within a laid down stipulated time period. This is an order of October 2018 when 3 toddlers had moved the Supreme Court of India and said, we have a right to breathe, the Supreme Court must do something about us. The noise pollution level of crackers should be within the permissible limit. That was outrightly flouted. I don't think this order has ever been respected, and prohibition on use of barium salts and firework. Barium, of course, is one of the compounds should not be present in the green crackers, and that's how one of the benchmarks as to how they qualify as green crackers. That is what the Supreme Court order of October 2018 talks about. And more importantly, this has been reiterated subsequently by the Supreme Court each year. You heard the politics, you saw the AQI levels, and we told you what the Supreme Court has said. Why is it that Delhi and the north of the country is without any policy response, a sustained policy response to the air pollution crisis? Who is responsible for choking their lives and the national capital of the country? We seek answers from the politicians and the experts tonight. Let's have a look at the story.
Another layer of smog has yet again engulfed the national capital. The AQI has deteriorated after Diwali.
जैसा दिल्ली सरकार ने कहा था कि फायर क्रैकर्स बर्न नहीं करने, लेकिन उस हिसाब से फायर क्रैकर्स बहुत ज़्यादा जलाए गए हैं।
अगर आप दिल्ली में रह रहे हो तो अपनी लाइफ जो है आप 5-7 साल डेफिनेटली कम कर रहे हो।
क्योंकि भाजपा चाहती थी पटाखे जले और तीनों राज्यों में पुलिस भाजपा के पास, परिणाम हमारे सामने है।
कैसे दिवाली की वजह से प्रदूषण हो रहा है, मतलब एक दिन पर्व मनाया गया हिंदुओं के द्वारा तो उसकी वजह से सारा प्रदूषण हो गया। आम आदमी पार्टी तो कहती थी 2018 में कि मुख्य कारण प्रदूषण का पंजाब की पराली है, हमारी सत्ता आएगी 1 साल में समाप्त कर देंगे।
Hello, Moto.
Who's responsible for the toxic haze that engulfs the national capital and many other parts of the north of the country. Joining us on the broadcast, Charu Pragya of the BJP. We also have Siddharth Sharma from the Aam Aadmi Party. Anika Mehrotra from the Congress Party is also with us on the broadcast. Mr. Deshratan Nigam, who's an advocate and political analyst. And Bhavreen Khandari, who's an environmentalist, is also joining us this evening. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. I hope you all had a great Diwali. But after Diwali, there's a thick haze in the air yet again. Mother Nature was kind to us with the rains and the winds, but yet again the air quality has gone for a worse and all of us are breathing in this toxic air. Charu, I want you to open the show. I totally believe that when it comes to Delhi, it is the elected government of the day from whom the answers should be sought about what have you done for the people of Delhi. But I know the moment I ask this question to Aam Aadmi Party, one of the key things that would be said is that it is the BJP which was responsible for implementation of this order, because the police and the powers, those powers lie with you. The law and order rests with the central government. Coming from that point of view, and that's factually correct as well, was there some kind of laid-back attitude from the side of the Delhi police when it comes to implementation of these orders? There are also allegations by the Aam Aadmi Party that somewhere crackers were lit or burst in a targeted manner only to show Aam Aadmi Party and their constituencies in a bad light.
Thank you for your question, and I want to also begin by wishing everyone a very happy Diwali and a very happy New Year. The situation in Delhi is terrible, and I understand that. We are literally breathing poison. We live in a gas chamber, but this situation is not something new which has been born this morning. This is not a situation of today. This existed a week ago, this existed 10 days ago, this existed 2 weeks ago. And this is an annual process. Every single year, around approximately, give a month or two around this time, the parali burning begins in certain parts of the country. The wind unfortunately blows towards Delhi. Unfortunately, Delhi is also in a geographical depression. The air becomes still and we breathe this poison. So what is the solution? And why shouldn't answers be sought of the people who are responsible for making sure that these solutions are met? The first problem at this time of the year. Now we can talk about the pollution situation round the year, but first let's address the situation at this time of the year, and then if you'll allow me 30 more seconds, I'll talk about round the year. At this time of the year, the most critical thing to control is parali burning in Punjab. 14,000 fires. 14,000 fires. Thousands of acres of land which is being burnt. Obviously, when the wind will blow towards Delhi, this will be the situation. Now, Aam Aadmi Party has this remark that they hide behind. They say, लेकिन पराली तो हरियाणा में भी चल रही है, लेकिन pollution तो नोएडा में भी है, लेकिन भाई साहब आ कहाँ से रहा है? Where is all this pollution coming from, and what is the source of this pollution? Now, when you were not in power in Punjab, every single day you used to talk about this magical chemical solution जो आपने पूसा से बनवाया था, which you handed out to all the Delhi farmers, and magically you just, got rid of all the problems in the state of Delhi for farmers at least. Right. Where is that magic potion now, and where is your magic wand? So, Charu, now that's one part of the conversation. The second part of the conversation, 30 seconds more. 30 seconds more. The second part of the conversation, which is actually, I believe, even more critical, is that what are you doing around the year? Now, festive season hai. the last 1 week, everybody has been wanting to go out, meet their relatives, meet their friends,
Yeah.
go for shopping, etc. You come up with these very, very bizarre schemes where people on the roads are paying crazy fines and the police is busy implementing that. I don't see the Delhi police not working. They're working very hard. My
so
own
three
car
points,
has been checked at least 10 times.
3 points, Charu, that you made.
But
One
why
is the
don't
chemical
you
solution,
deal with
the other is
vehicular
about
pollution?
stubble burning, and the third is around the year. Why is it that the Delhi government is not taking proper action? These are 3 points that you've raised.
And
I'm going to public transport.
Pollution
Yes,
is adding to the PM 2.5. You
Absolutely.
should deal with public transport.
that's what
If
the Supreme
public
Court
transport
also
is
said,
not
that you
good,
have to
overnight you can't say
take
taxis are
long-term
not allowed
sustained
in
efforts.
Delhi.
But
How will people
Charu,
commute?
my question to you was about
Absolutely,
the Delhi
yeah.
police. Could you take 30 seconds and respond to that charge
Yes.
that Delhi police somewhere was not interested in implementing the Supreme Court order? And then I'll take all these points to the Aam Aadmi Party, and the other panelists are also with us on the broadcast. 30 seconds, Charu.
So, okay, Delhi police is not implementing the order is a crazy charge, first of all. And if the Supreme Court is so good at implementing all the bizarre orders they pass, what about the order they passed in the 90s where they said that loudspeaker nahi chal sakte permission ke bina? Have they been able to implement that order? See, when it is a festival, it comes once a year. In the whole year, there is only one day of Diwali. That is the day where you want the entire police force to stop doing whatever very, very genuine and busy things that they have to do at every single point of time. Drop everything, peep into people's homes and gardens, in their parking lots and see kaun patake chala rahe. Really?
You've made
you
your
are
point,
making a laughing stock of the police, but poor people, they've been doing their job.
Well-
they're still doing their job. They're still checking the nameplate
I
of
agree
every
with
single
you.
car.
I agree
to
with
see
you that
when
you
was
cannot
this
go
car
around
made.
nook and corner of every
And
mohalla and
2019
really check
to
who's lighting a
2020
cracker.
mein kya
But I
fark
think
ho
the
gaya hai?
job of the police is also to ensure that crackers are not really sold in the manner which flouts the Supreme Court order. But I'll come back to you. I want to bring the Aam Aadmi Party into the discussion now. Siddharth ji, stubble burning. आपने वादा किया था, the party had promised to the people of Punjab, to the people of Delhi, that once we come to power in the state of Punjab, within a year we'll solve the problem. There was this magical formula, chemical formula that PUSA had, developed. Reportedly, the Delhi Chief Minister had spoken about it. Even the Supreme Court asked you that question, that what happened to that magical formula that you were talking about. I ask you specifically about stubble burning. Why isn't the government able to get a grip on that problem?
Yeah, Anusha, the BJP spokesperson got 4 minutes of airtime. So half of that 2 minutes of airtime, and I'll explain the entire thing. First of all, let me commiserations. I think the Uttarkashi the crisis there, the tunnel crisis. I hope all the people are
we hope so
taken
too,
out
sir.
safe.
We hope to, sir.
Yeah. And let me come to the substantial point. It's a fact of the matter is that the parali burning in Punjab is down by nearly 50% this year compared to last year. That is the data that the government of India is saying, not Aam Aadmi Party. How come 50% drop of parali burning happened? Because of Aam Aadmi Party and Bhagwant Mann government taking certain actions. Now, regarding yesterday in Delhi, today's program is regarding the sudden drop of AQI in Delhi. Very strangely, yesterday, Diwali day in the morning, for the past 8 years, Delhi experienced one of the finest days in the past 8 years, one of the cleanest days. And suddenly by late night, the Delhi AQI reached 800, 900 in the worst possible scenario. So what really has happened? What is this? What is the answer for this paradox? The paradox is very simple. Paradox is why no one from BJP Pradhan to Pravaktas appealed to refrain from firecrackers in Delhi. Because as we all know, making a law is easy, but a law which is not enforceable is not a good law. We have seen it in the 3 farm laws that Modi government made, and after 1 year they had to resign simply because those farm laws were unenforceable. Now, on the contrary, my simple question is, why didn't the BJP Delhi or the BJP national leadership ever appeal to the general public through either Mann Ki Baat or through tweets for people to refrain from cracker burning in Delhi? That has not happened. On the contrary, many leaders of Delhi BJP appealed to burn firecrackers despite the ban from the Supreme Court as well as a ban from Delhi government. But strangely, I'll tell you one strange thing. Strangely, BJP's Maharashtra government appealed to people to refrain from cracker burning. So how do you explain this running with the hare and hunting with the hound that BJP in? Now it is very clear that BJP conspired big time against Delhi to yesterday get crackers from BJP ruled neighboring states just to put the 2.5
Sir,
crore
can
people
can you substantiate this allegation? Do you have
Can
any
I come
proof
in?
to one second?
Can
Charu,
I come in,
one
please?
second, Charu.
No, Anusha, can I
I'll
come
let
in,
you
please?
respond, Charu. One
Because,
second.
you know,
Let him
this
finish
makes
his
me very
argument.
angry.
Let me finish his argument. Then you make your point. Siddharthji, do you have any evidence to substantiate the argument or the charge that you're making? It's a serious one, and I believe
Yes.
you, as a responsible spokesperson, would not make a charge if you don't have evidence to back it.
Can I see the...
Yeah, the
can I see-
evidence is for everyone to see that yesterday morning, if the AQI was less than 200 and there is a ban on cracker burning in Delhi from two
Sorry,
angles.
sir,
One
that's
is the Supreme
conjecture.
Court as well as Delhi government, and still by evening, if crackers
Okay.
are burst
So,
and the police is
no,
in
I don't
BJP's
think.
hands,
No, I'm sorry, sir.
Please,
That doesn't
Anusha,
add
can I
up.
come
Sir,
in?
that, one second. I don't think. Siddharthji,
Anusha, in India, whenever something illegal happens, it is the police's job to take care of illegality.
Okay.
You just
okay.
showed on
You asked a question about Delhi police. You asked a question to the BJP. Just respond to me one thing, Siddharthji. Why is it that the smog
can I
tower?
come in, Anusha?
Why is it that the smog tower here in the national capital, built with the taxpayers' money, was non-functional? It was not functional. The Supreme Court had to pull up the government, ask questions, and then the government machinery moved into action. Was the government sleeping when the smog tower was shut down? Did the government not know that during this time there would be high levels of pollution owing to various factors and they need to be proactive? Why didn't the government do its bit? Tell me about the smog tower, sir.
Yeah, the smog tower was not working because the bureaucracy under Delhi, the chief secretary, they ensured that it was not repaired and the payment was not made. And this is already
Permanent
part of our
excuse. Anusha,
Aam Aadmi
now let
Party's
me speak,
argument in the
please.
Supreme
All
Court.
right. Siddharthji?
It's everyone's case. That BJP.
Oh my God, such crybaby.
Okay, Siddharthji.
Aam Aadmi Party.
The enforcement
Everyone.
falls on them.
Siddharthji, you've made your point. You've made your point. Charu Pragya, quick response from you, and then I'll bring another guest into the discussion. Charuji, please go ahead.
Anusha, thank you. Oh, and I'm feeling so bad, no, for all the crybabies in Aam Aadmi Party. All they can do is cry, complain.
One at a time, one at a time. And my request, one at a time. Siddharthji, one at a time. Charu, please refrain from personal comments. Please refrain. No. Please refrain from personal comments. Can we please have a civilized debate here? Can we please have a civilized debate here?
No, I'm trying to
have a civilized debate here. No personal attacks and comments.
Who's like whining away.
I am telling him to not to do that, and I'm telling him to give you the opportunity to
as to
talk.
why.
But I request you not to make any personal comments. Please
Thank
go
you.
ahead. I'm sure you have far more substantial arguments to make. Please go ahead,
Sure.
Charuji.
I always do. Now, Anusha, he comes back and says, अरे दिवाली के बारे में अपील करिए. Now, मुझे एक बात बताइए, दिवाली से पहले तो था ना pollution दिल्ली में? Was there pollution before Diwali or not? In fact, I was breathing 900 AQI air. That time, you were not blaming Diwali. That time, you were not saying पटाखों की वजह से pollution हुआ है. Now, AQI is marginally higher. I understand. Of course, it is marginally higher. Crackers have been burst. But can you come up with better provisions for that? Instead of just putting down a blanket ban, can you say we can have maybe community bursting of crackers? Can you say that, there is a limit to how much a person can buy? Do you really think in a country with 80% population of people who celebrate Diwali, I celebrate Diwali, I think it is unfair to put all these rules on my festival.
Okay, I have to bring other guests into the discussion now.
Pollution hai, aap
Anika
patake
Mehrotra
nahi
of
chala
the Congress
sakte.
Party,
It's
Mr.
illogical.
Desh
Now,
and Mr. Bhaveen Khandari have been very patiently waiting. Anika ji, I want you to come into the discussion now. This political blame game between the BJP and AAP we see every year. And I think there are pertinent questions that the BJP has asked and some concerns that the Aam Aadmi Party has expressed. But we only hope that our governments could have delivered much more. But there is an entire angle of religion which has been brought into this debate. BJP says that Aam Aadmi Party and Congress are anti-Hindu. You always target the Hindu festivals disproportionately for any kind of problem that happens. Air pollution crisis is not about Diwali crackers.
Anusha ji, vague and diversional topics, or vague and diversional issues, and getting in weird, ideas into it will not solve the purpose. See, the center and the state has to come with substantial long-term program. Now, why I say this? Because when we were in Delhi in power, the Congress, Sheila Ji government, the Congress government got the award for cleanest and greenest city by the US. And who was in center? The BJP. That goes to say that the center and state can work in coordination and can work for the benefit of the people of the state. You see how unfair is it to put children off the schools? The first attack is on the students. How much of loss of academics? How much the brunt the students are bearing, and the adults and the senior citizens. So there has to be, when you say, oh, kaun sa LG, kaisa LG, that's not done.
Right.
And in the same breath, the LG should also come forward and coordinate. See, the political gimmicks will go on, I agree. Each party to his own, but not at the cost of the life and threat of the citizen of the state. You can't do that. So it's very simple. When Sheila Dixit could have done it, I'm sure AAP could have also done it. All they could have done is to request the center. The tutu meme of not allowing the smog machine to work or delaying the payment, it's unfair. And in the same breath, the police should have also been more vigilant. Yes, the community, the third factor is the community. We as citizens also to play a role.
Sure.
Like, it's unfair to play always blame the government. The partial part comes on the people, but the major chunk, you can't always say Atmanirbhar ban jao. You can't say do it on your own. The governments are there to put things in order, and hence the government in power is Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi. It's 24/7. You can't just rise up one fine day and say, oh, Diwali aa gayi. Oh,
you're
this
right.
program.
Yeah.
It's 24/7 and 12 months round the year. If that would have been done, I'm sure today we would have not been debating for past so
Absolutely.
many years.
I wait for a day, Onika ji, that we don't have to debate this, and I'm sure all of us, because all of us suffer in that toxic levels of haze which are there. Mr. Deshratan Nigam, and Bhavreen have also been very patiently waiting with us on the broadcast. Bhavreen ji, I'd come to you and taken a view from you. The angle that somewhere crackers are disproportionately blamed on the occasion of Diwali for the air pollution crisis is just once a year. And the pollution crisis, especially in Delhi, is around the year. We don't have good air quality days in Delhi. That's a rarity. That's not something that happens. What is your understanding? Do crackers really contribute substantially to pollution in a sustained manner? Or perhaps we are looking at it in a disproportionate manner. Too much importance is being given to firecrackers. What's your take on this, sir?
So, Anusha, I'd like to first correct, everyone here, including Charu, which, that the cracker ban is till 1st of January. So that doesn't mean it's for one day Diwali. It means it's for Gurpurab, it's for Christmas, it's for New Year's, it's for the damn political, rallies or some ridiculous matches, everything. So this is not about one day, because we don't see this one day. It will happen and it will happen again. So we all live here, Charu and I, in very close vicinity. So this is absolutely wrong. So the information is all messed up here. And the ban, of course, like you said, has to be for the whole year, like Monica mentioned just now. And that would be ideal. And how can you, as a mother, Charu's also here, I'm a little bit, wondering how everybody's talking. As a parent, do you make a choice of the poison that you want to give to your children? Or the quantity somebody asks you, aaj aap 500 ml hi dijiye, 1000 ml mat dijiye. This is what we are talking right now, this kind of nonsense. When we are in this toxicity, every third child in Delhi has damaged lungs. Yes. This is an asthma study from 2019. It is science, and you are willing to give them more, toxicity. Then obviously there's something seriously wrong. And this is a Supreme Court order, for God's sake. We cannot say it's good or bad or horrible. Nobody can say that. First of all, there is certain sense of disrespect that has actually come into the way of Supreme Court, and I would highly think or say and speak loudly that the Supreme Court must take action against each and every individual who has actually downgraded the level of the Supreme Court in every way, whether you were burning crackers, talking nonsense, writing nonsense of Supreme Court, making fun of the judges.
Avrinji, the issue is that the court is damned if they do, they are damned if they don't. I believe judiciary has already gone miles ahead in doing what the policymakers ought to do in this country, which is to have a graded response action plan, or to have,
obviously failed, and there is no doubt about that. They have failed yet once again, and there should be strict action. And like Onika just mentioned, try burning one New York or in Singapore and see what's going to happen. So that is what it is. The law is there. Implement it.
Mr.
If you don't
Deshwata
implement
Nigam,
it,
I'm
then
coming to you,
leave your-
and then I'll
Because these
change
tenants are not going to take any more damage.
I take your point. Ma'am, I think the most important aspect that you've brought to the debate is the human angle to the air pollution crisis, the major health crisis that we witnessed, and that should be the dominating discourse in all the debates. And I'll take that paradigm shift in the debate. But Mr. Deshwata Nigam, before that, the angle that a particular religion and Hindu religion is being targeted, each time you criticize the use of crackers, it was very rightly pointed out that you may like or dislike the order of the Supreme Court. At the end of the day, you have to follow it. The crackers were banned and the ban was not successful. Mr. Deshwata Nigam.
Anusha, in fact, let me put out the statistics given by Central Pollution Control Board in the morning compared to 8th November morning, which is now the AQI index at RK Puram, Anand Vihar, Punjabi Bagh, ITO was less than half of what was on 8th of November. Similar timings in the morning, today 13th November, 6 a.m. and similar. So it was half. This is Central Pollution Control Board official data, not some private organizations' data. And the second aspect is everybody, the voters belonging to Aam Aadmi Party, BJP, Congress, take any party, even Muslims also burst crackers on the Diwali. And it has happened. To say that Aam Aadmi Party voters did not, that would be a travesty and should not be, to say everybody. So let's not make it political out here, one versus the another. It's a perennial problem. Delhi has a perennial pollution problem, and Parali is one of the important factors for which ad hocism would not work. You need to find a permanent solution. And since Aam Aadmi cannot escape its responsibility because they have a government both in Delhi and Punjab, so you can't be in the blame game situation. Yes, we got to find a long-term solution. Long-term solution, as some of the people pointed out, is green crackers and community burning. And let me tell you, one of the important reasons is trans-border pollution. I was reading a research study that the pollution flows from Pakistan onwards and goes to Bangladesh. So it requires international coordination as well. But Pakistan doesn't agree to this. But I was reading an expert.
हमारे देश में अगर 4 राज्य आपस में coordinate कर ले वही बड़ी बात है. Even for that, the Supreme Court has to sit and tell them, look, get on a table and why don't you guys start talking? I have seen this happening in the Supreme Court for years now. But sir, it's a very fair point that you have made. Charu, before I come to you, I just want to highlight one thing. I think it's fair that BJP asked the Aam Aadmi Party the questions that you have reiterated here on the broadcast, and Siddharth ji has had a response to that. But somewhere, as a journalist, I feel that the urgency and the human concern that we should have for our children, for our elderly, for vulnerable who may not be able to survive this pollution levels is somewhere missing in the political discourse. We're all forgetting that at the end of the day, we're talking about a health emergency and a crisis. The Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP will have to work together, and BJP at the center perhaps has a far bigger responsibility to coordinate that the various states do the task which is assigned to them. Charu.
Yes, and I agree with you on this, Anusha. There has to be a lot of work which the center has to do, because pollution has now become mainstream. So I don't agree that political parties are not concerned. As Onika was saying, no, I think the other panelists said that we're all parents, we all have elderly people in our homes, and we have to take this level of pollution in our city very seriously. Not just air pollution, also water pollution. It's a massive problem, and I think it requires a quick fix first. And while this quick fix starts working, we need to work on long-term solutions. For the quick fix, I would suggest to the government, please buy some green buses for Delhi. We barely have 3,600 buses for a city which requires minimum 10,000 buses. And, DTC buses routes have been decreased. So instead of increasing the number of routes that DTC buses ply on, you're making it lesser and lesser. How will people travel to and fro to work, to other places? We need better metro connectivity too, because this metro is a legacy of the past. It is from the time of Shilaji's Sarkar. You need to work on making it better. That's the work of Delhi government. The central government is adding flyovers. The central government is coming up with rules where we say we are going to encourage green transport. We are working on bigger industrial norms. But what are you doing for construction?
But can I also make a suggestion?
Forget about these 2 months of Parali burning.
Can I also make a suggestion, because you come from the BJP?
We need Aam Aadmi Party to fix all of this.
At the national level, there is a need for India to have a policy in place to have a sustained effort in place to tackle the problem of air pollution. It's not just about Delhi, Haryana, parts of Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, various other states are facing this problem. It may be ruled by the Congress, by the BJP or the Aam Aadmi Party, but at the end of the day, everybody is going to suffer. In fact, this was a proposition of the Supreme Court as well, that why is it that we don't have a sustained policy on paper? Siddharthji, why is it that the Delhi government so far has not been able to give a good response, a policy response to the problem? Why is it that we wake up every year before Diwali or during Diwali or after Diwali and say, look what has happened? We should have been ready for it. If bureaucracy, for example, was paralyzing the operation of that smog tower, you should have ensured that it's up and running. You should have ensured that those hurdles are cleared. Isn't that your job as the elected government of the day, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. And for a change, I agree with what Charu said, that we have to, pollution is not something that can be viewed through myopic glasses. It's a collective problem, and every government is duty bound to solve it. Now, one or two things, like Delhi, at least in Delhi, we have an electric vehicle policy. 1,000 electric buses are on road. In the next 1.5 years, 10,000 buses will be there. The same would be expected from neighboring NCR cities like Faridabad, Gurugram, which as of now do not have a single electric vehicle bus. Now, the main thing here is that we have to accept that you cannot solve corruption through pollution through myopia. As Desh Ratan Nigamji very clearly said, this is a subcontinental issue right from Pakistan to Bangladesh. And we also have to understand that 1.4 billion people also need food security. You cannot have something at the expense of food security. So things we are going ahead. I think Punjab, we have shown that parali burning can come down. It has come down substantially. It has to come down still. And my request is that I think in the Constitution of India very clearly has said that this is a federal structure. Two governments can work together. We have to, just now 15 minutes ago on CNN, I saw some rushes in which Chennai police had booked 500 people for illegal firecracker burning. The same can happen in Faridabad by Faridabad police too. The same can happen at Delhi police too. So I think we have to come out of this myopia and fight it out together, because my children, your children,
I think the stubble burning that you're talking about is for the period of September and October, and the data for the peak month of November and December, October, November, December is yet to arrive before we can assertively say that stubble burning has come down, and we'll await those numbers. We'll await those numbers, because I believe the November data is not on record so far. The data I have in front of me corroborates your argument for September, October.
Anusha, just a small intervention. We have live feeds today. As of today, last year, nearly 44,000 fire incidents, farm fires were there in Punjab. As of today, the same day last year, compared to last year, there are 23,000. So that's nearly a 46% drop.
I have last few minutes on the show. Onika ji, moving forward, do you see the governments coming together and having any kind of a policy response? I mean, to get a rap from the Supreme Court, to get a rap from the NGT has become like a script each year. And somewhere the governments believe that once the court says something, then only we are going to do something. Otherwise, nobody is really proactive in solving this crisis.
Very, very unfortunate. I think that should be the last resort. I mean, how can you play with the life of the children? My husband at 60 was admitted at the National Heart. He's suffering a severe lung infection. Look at my throat. So all of us are part of it. As I said in my remark, ma'am, that vague and diversion tactics will not help. Here on the debate, you are saying, yes, we should go forward. Then when? What are we waiting for? You've gone through COVID. We have seen the disasters happen. What about your hospitals? What about your other equipments? What about noise pollution, water pollution? There's so much to it. We're talking about the air pollution, Anusha ji. What about the Koodadan that's still there with the MCD?
Yeah, the huge mountain of garbage that you can see in East Delhi. That's much talked about. Desh Ratan ji, last minute, I have a quick closing comment from you and Bhavri.
Well, Anusha ji, there is a central government scheme known as National Clean Air Program under the control of pollution, which is very much being implemented, but the implementation lies in the hands of the state government, because state governments are the ultimate, agencies to actually implement them. Secondly, central government gives thousands of crores. I know few years back it was about 10,000. Now it has increased to about 15,000 to the Punjab government to buy new machines and also going to alternative technologies. But where is that money going? We need to ask that question. We need to ask, where is that money going? So it requires a coordinated effort beyond politics. Voters from all political parties burn crackers. So let's not be, party specific, blame BJP.
And children
Let's come
from
out of
across
that.
the country and children,
Yes,
all children of
absolutely.
whichever religion suffer because of this. Bhavrinji, I'm short of time, 30 seconds from you. Judiciary has played a key role, but the governments have failed us.
Yes, so has the, I'm so non-political. We are parents and we don't care which party and where. But Aam Aadmi Party has at least called, the first time Delhi government called for a cracker ban. I mean, somebody like me who's been fighting for this for 23 years with other parents, we knew what the mess we were in.
Yeah.
So it's been called, but then obviously it's not been implemented. It's also, again, not one. Everyone should have been on the ground to make this happen. Every source of emission must be worked on. It is important to work. We are in a public health emergency.
It is a public health emergency, and that's the note on which I would want to end this debate, that yes, politics will continue to happen. There may be parties in different states, different parties in different states in power, but at the end of the day, it's a public health emergency. It's your children, your elderly, and yourself who are suffering because of this crisis. We hope that our political class is able to come up with a short-term, medium, and a long-term solution. Thank you all for joining us this evening and being a part of this discussion.